Visit CCGCastle.com and get 5% discount on your purchase with TCG Center 5 code. Check video description or visit CCG Castle for more. Hello and welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. Today video is about Raticate BREAK. So today we'll be looking at, of course, deck for the standard format, pretty much on the budget. So we're looking today at the Raticate BREAK, or pretty much counter to any EX deck in the format. So since the Primal Clash on format is going to be everything around those heavy EX decks like Mega Rayquazas, like Mega Mewtwo's, like Dark Regiratinas, and other stuff like Seeker Regirox, Volcanions, and other crazy things, I decided to go with one build which actually can stand against them. So this is a Raticate BREAK with a Super Fang, which says for the double course energy, put the damage counters on your opponent active Pokemon until its remaining HP is 10. And basically, if you do that with Ariados, you can also put the poison mark on your opponent active Pokemon, so that means that with a double course energy you can one-hit knock out any EX. Of course, not those grass EXs like Mega Sceptile and Sceptile, because they're actually grass types, and with the Ariados you're not going to be able to use your Poisonous Nest. But for example, if you play against that deck, you can just easily, with your Raticate BREAK, of course, because it has 110 HP and Mega Sceptile can hit only for the 100, you can use your previously evolved Dirty Shock, put the poison on your opponent Mega Sceptile, and then after he actually, if he don't retreat, probably you're going to take 100 damage. Then you can just retreat down to your another Raticate BREAK, use Super Fang, and pretty much put him down to a knockout. So in my opinion, that's very good combo. But against any other EX, you're going to be able to do that combo. Of course, I'm running 443 copies of Raticate BREAK, 2 Ariados. Of course, I'm also running 2 copies of Octilleries, for that a Beazle Hand for the setup, and 1 Cobalion with a Quick Guard and Revenge Blast. Basically, Cobalion with the Quick Guard in the early game can help you basically to prevent all damage done to these Pokemon by attacks from the basic Pokemon that your opponent next turn. Basically, it can help you to set up. But in the late game with the Revenge Blast, if you can find those 2 Metal Energies, you can just hit for the 30, plus 30 more for each prize card your opponent has taken, which is probably going to be enough to one-hit knockout lower HP EXs like a Shaymin X, but in case he take 5 prizes, you can even go for 180, which is going to be enough to knock out almost every EX except that Wailord and Zygarde without Fighting Fury Belt. So it can also help you to drop 2 last prize cards. As you can see, my build looks a little bit huge with the Pokemons, 20 Pokemons, 34 trainer cards, and only 6 energies. The only thing you can probably add in this deck are going to be Special Charge. Since I'm running 4 copies of Puzzle of Time, I decided to give more advance to Enhanced Hammer, because a lot of decks are going to be with and around special energy cards. So I'm thinking about running 2 copies of Enhanced Hammer will be better than actually having 1 copy of Enhanced Hammer and maybe 1 copy of Special Charge. But you can feel free to basically move 1 Enhanced Hammer in addition to 1 Special Charge, so you can recycle your double course energies back into your deck. Also, 2 copies of Level Ball will allow you to search your deck for any under or 90 HP Pokemon. So basically, every Pokemon except Raticate BREAK and Cobalion you're going to be able to draw with the Level Ball. Of course, 4 copies of Puzzle of Time. We want to play 2 copies at the same time, so we can bring back any 2 resources from our discard pile. That's very important. Same as the 1 copy of Super Rod. With the Super Rod, we can bring back those Raticates line in deck without any problem. Only 3 copies of Trainers Mails, but you can also maybe thinking about replacing them with Acrobike, but I will keep with going with the Trainers Mail. 4 copies of Ultra Ball, of course, 4 copies of V-Seekers. From other supporter cards, I decided to go with 1 Hex Maniac. It will help you against Greninja BREAK, it will help you against any other deck who needs to set up. Any deck will depend on the abilities, but basically Hex Maniac, I don't know. Since this is a Raticate BREAK and since this deck can easily lose against Greninja BREAK, you might thinking about removing that Hex Maniac and also considering adding any other tech card in this build. Maybe a second Lysandre. 1 copy of Lysandre, 2 copies of N, of course, and 4 Sycamore for the drop support. Maybe even adding 1 N, not going to be bad, instead of that Hex Maniac. That's just my extra stuff that you can do with this deck. So I actually decided to roll with this build. This is my build that I used to play, but you can always have some adjustments, and I can actually help you with those adjustments. Depend on the current meta where you're probably going to play this build if you decide to build something like that. One copy of Teammates. After we get knocked out, we can search our deck for any 2 cards with the Teammates, very good. One copy of Wally. You never know, Wally can always help you a lot. Parallel City against those basically Mega Rayquaza decks, so we can just Parallel City and put them on the very low amount of the Pokemons in play. But also Parallel City can help us, I mean, it can help us definitely, especially in the early game. If we can start first with the Parallel City, we can basically prevent our opponent from being able to have more than 3 Pokemons on the bench, so those decks who actually require to have those shims for the setup are not going to be able to have more than 3, which is good. Same as the Silent Lab. I mean, 1 copy of Silent Lab can do the magic. It can actually help you to basically prevent your opponent from being able to use Hoopa and Shaman. 2 copies of Super Float Stone, so we can actually have free retreat in case we're stuck in the active position with something that we don't want to have in the active position. 6 energies. 4 of them as double colors and 2 metal energies. As always, if you're looking for any of these cards, you can find CCGCastle.com in my link in my video description. So link is in the video description, and by typing TCG Center 5 code, you will also get 5% discount on your purchase. So pretty much, if you're also looking forward maybe for some adjustments, I can actually help you a little bit. You can maybe run 1 Float Stone instead of the Hexman. You can add 1 more Trainers Mail. Basically, instead of the 1 Enhanced Hammer, you can also add maybe a 3rd energy and something like a special charge, for example. There we go. So you can also have something like this if the first actually build is not how you would like to go. So let's do some game tests so you can actually see how this deck will work in the action. So see you there. So waiting for opponent to load the game, and then we can go. Alright, so there we go. It's a heads, which means that I will start first. Let's take a look at the opening hand. Oh, it's pretty decent. I will open with Rattata. I have Spinarak and my Remoraid for the bench. And another Rattata for the bench. Okay, I guess this is just a N for 6 new cards. Another Rattata, and I guess I will pass. So for the next turn, I can have 2 Raticates, Octillery, and basically also I can have a N. So this is definitely going to be big turn 1. There is a Ultra Ball, which might be for Majernia, but it's actually for the Hoopa EX. I'm not sure if my opponent actually played that Majernia in his deck, because it's definitely going to be a big deal. And there are 2 Scizors and 1 Shaman EX. So it's a Mega Scizor on the other side. Okay, so battling against Mega Scizor. Mega Scizor can go for 120, which means that he can one-hit knock out my Raticate. But if I'm going to exchange prize for prize, I'm definitely in a better position, because if I can exchange 1 prize for 2 prizes, I definitely can benefit from it. So 2 Spirit Links on those Scizors, 1 Metal Energy, and probably this is gonna be it. Which means that I will use my Level Ball, search my deck for Octillery. Then I have 2 Raticates to evolve, and I guess I will go with 2 of mine on the bench. Still I have even Parallel City in play, which means that I can put the Parallel City in place so my opponent cannot have more than 3 Pokemons in play. I know this is going to help him a little bit, but in case he wants to set up, he's not going to be able to set up for anymore. Okay, so there is just a Sycamore, and I'm thinking about rolling with my V-Seeker for N. Probably I will help my opponent more than myself, but I really want to have those Puzzle of Times and Super Roads for the later. And I even didn't find energy for energy attachment, which is not good. But I have 2 copies of puzzles, so let's see what I can find with the Trainers Mail, Silent Lab, and Sycamore. Yes, I will take a Sycamore, so I can Ultra Ball, basically for, let me see, Ariados. I really need to get my Ariados in play. And I also have 2 copies of puzzles, but I think that if I want to play puzzles, probably I should use and play them on my next turn. Poisonous Nest, why not? Let's just put the poison on Cobalion. And let's just pass the turn. Okay, so we are both going to take 10 damage. Luckily, my Rattata is going to survive. And right now, my opponent played that Ultra Ball. So this is going to be a Ultra Ball for Mega Scizor. He still need to find a way to retreat, where I will trying to get access to find my Lysandre, so I can basically try to Lysandre his Mega Scizor on the bench and knock him out for the 2 prizes. Right now, that is the biggest challenge to get. So he just take 10 damage from the poison. And there is 1 Metal Energy as a top deck. Let's roll with 2 copies of puzzles for something like an Ultra Ball and something like a Level Ball. So with the Level Ball, I can grab pretty much 1 Raticate. And with my Ultra Ball, I can grab my Raticate Break. And then I can go with my Abyssal Hand for 5. I know this is very risky, especially if I don't get supporter card, but if I can hit double Chorus Energy and basically Lysandre, I can knock out his Mega Scizor on his bench, which is going to be very big play. So let's go with Abyssal Hand for 5. That Abyssal Hand will give me pretty much another Spinarak. I guess I can put another Spinarak on the bench. And I guess I can even attach 1 energy, or I can just go straight away for the knockout. Let's go with energy attachment. So for 1 more turn I can sit and wait to see what my opponent can do. And there is pretty much Super Rod, another Raticate Break, 2 double Chorus Energies, Super Rod. But I'm thinking maybe just about passing this turn. Okay. So let's see what is the next move for my opponent. So a V-Seeker for Skyla. So that means that he might be able right now to grab somehow Float Stone to retreat his Cobalion. Of course, if he plays a copy of the Float Stone. If he don't play Float Stone, he might not be able to remove that Cobalion, which means that I will definitely need to attack with my Raticate first. And that means that I will also lost 1 of my Raticates, which I really don't want. But at least I have that copy of Teammates sitting in my hand, which will definitely help me a lot right here. So there's a Mega Turbo, which means that he wants to accelerate energy on his Mega Scizor on the bench. Alright, so there we go with the Mega Turbo, energy attachment. And a Float Stone. Okay, that means that I will lost definitely my Raticate right here. No doubt about that. So I wish I retreated my Raticate on my Spinarak, but I didn't. And this means that right now I can quickly respond with my Raticate Break and knock out his Mega Scizor. I can even use, as you can see right here, my teammates, which I will definitely do. Alright, so quickly let's go with a Level Ball for another Rattata, so I can put it onto my bench. Pretty much Teammates for Lysandre, of course, and pretty much for a V-Seeker. Since I don't have... oh, there is a V-Seeker. I will surprise my opponent with the Silent Lab just in case he wants to get that Shaman in play for the setup. And this is going to be a Beazle. Right. So starting with my Rattata, and hopefully this game is going to be interesting to watch. So on the other side is a Carbink. Carbink with the Safeguard. It's always good. So there's a Level Ball for the Arish, which means this is going to be a Zygarde with a Item Lock. And this is very broken. Very, very broken. As long as he can miss turn 1 Vileplume, I guess I can still take some advantage by trying to set up, but this opening hand will probably not help me to set up. Not even close. Okay, so there we go with the Zygarde. I see that N in his discard pile. Will there be a V-Seeker for N? It's gonna be Sycamore for 7. Much more better. So still I have Enhanced Hammer, which means that I can discard that strong energy from his Zygarde, but probably that's not going to be effective just because, okay, a red card, it might help me. That red card might help. Okay, it helped a little bit. Ultra Ball for these two bad boys, so I can bring in play my Remoraid. And of course I want to put also my Spinarak on the bench. At least without Carbink Break, my opponent is not going to be able to attack. So I have a chance to go and play more than like 2 turns right here. So there are 2 more fighting energies with that Professor's Leather. 1 energy attached on the Carbink. If there's gonna be... oh, so he decided to retreat on the Zygarde, and this is gonna be a Land Pulse for a weakness, which is 100 damage. I mean, I can try to paralyze him with my Stream Shot, but a good thing is that there is Professor Sycamore, so this is gonna be Sycamore for 7. Ah, my goodness. Yeah, I really need that Super Rod. Okay. So I guess I can discard Raticate and 1 more Raticate. Don't have another option actually. For that Rattata, I guess I can try to paralyze him right here, but is that smart option? I don't know. Let's take a risk. It was bad option. It was very bad. But I take the risk. I have nothing to lose. Just for the bad setup. I think if I get heads on that coin flip right here, I might be able actually to get my Ariados and somehow to knock out his Zygarde. Maybe with Wally and double Chorus energy, but probably does not happen. So there's an Ultra Ball for the Vileplume, which means that this is going to be a knockout. And I only have that Teammate sitting in my hand, which can help me to get any 2 cards into my hand. But which 2 cards I should get if I discarded my Lysandre? And he actually didn't decide to put Vileplume yet in play, which is very interesting. And that can mean only one thing. Let's first go with a Beazle hand. Okay, very nice. So there are 2 copies of Puzzle sitting in my hand, which means that I can bring any 2 cards from my discard pile. And I can take, for example, Spinarak, and I can take that, maybe even Double Color's Energy. So I can have Double Colors attached on my Raticate. Then I can Teammates and basically grab something like any 2 cards. So any 2 cards I really want is going to be Super Rod, and it's going to be Enhanced Hammer. So I can have better go maybe with one more Rattata. Okay, and with this Super Rod I can actually bring back Ariados, a Rattata, and a Raticate, but I think since I already have that Ariados, I will just put one more Raticate back into my deck. And I really need to retreat, and I guess right now is the best time to retreat on my Cobalion, because Cobalion is the only one who can actually absorb all punishment from this Zygarde. And there we go with one more energy, and right now he actually can hit for that land red for 150, which is be enough for a knockout on my Cobalion. But on the other side, the good thing is that I managed to set up Raticate in my Rattata. I also have the Spinarak, and he's down to 3 prizes, but I also have the free retreat with my Octillery, of course. And right now I have actually a decent chance to do something seriously here. So let's go with that Abyssal hand for 4, and let's see what we can try to get. So there is a Raticate, and there is a Professor Sycamore. So I guess I will go with my Sycamore for 7. I really need to find a way to get my Raticate break, but as you can see, I didn't get one. So the best thing I can do is pretty much put the poison on his Zygarde and basically retreat with my Octillery down to the bench on my Spinarak. And I really need that Raticate. If I get Raticate break in this turn, I would be able to knock out his Zygarde, and he wouldn't have another Zygarde with the energy. I mean, right now he would have, but it would be a whole different story in my opinion. And there's another Sailstorm, of course, rational, explain it. One more prize to take. I'm going to put my Raticate in the active position. And there we go, with a big Sycamore for 7. Pretty much discard everything, and there are 2 Raticate breaks, which means that I can right now go for a knockout with my Super Fang, which will mean that I will take 2 prizes. Still, I really missed that knockout a turn before. If I get a Raticate break turn before, I guess things would probably be different. Right now he can hit me for 20 plus 40 since the stadium is in play, and also 20 more for that strong energy. Well, that's a knockout, which means that I only have one more Raticate break in play. And luckily, at least I have the double course energy. And I guess I just need to use my Poisonous Nest. I don't know if he have the access on his Lysandre, which means that I will take risk by putting another Rattata and playing my Wally into another Raticate. And of course, this is going to be another round of the... Let's even go with one Abyssal hand. And another round of the Super Fang, which means that another Zygarde has just fall down. And pretty much things turn quickly. Oh, there's a big Ant sitting in my hand, so this might be very interesting finish at the end. There is one energy, so that means that there is even one more Oddish, But the most important thing, there is a big Lysandre. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to retreat. Whew. Luckily, he decided to roll with my Remoraid, which means that I'm going to play my N. Yes. Pretty much, this might ends like a GG. Why? In two cases. I can retreat down to my Raticate. I can even Abyssal Hand. And I can Abyssal Hand for two Octilleries. So there we go with another Raticate break in play. But the most important thing is that, alright guys, let's do this. So, waiting for my opponent to load the game so we can basically kick off. Alright, so let's see. He can have heads or tails. I guess I'm going to start first right here. Unfortunately not. Okay, let's see. Very nice. Cobalion in the opening hand is always good start. Rattata in the active position. I have Double Course Energy, Enhanced Hammer, Ultra Ball, and also N. So I can have pretty decent opening hand. On the other side is a Glaceon. And there's a promo shaming with that Aroma of Gratitude. I really like this card. Especially in the water toolbox. So there's an Ultra Ball for Sycamore and another Ultra Ball, which means that he's going to search his deck for the Shaman EX, but the one from the Roaring Skies with the setup. Okay. I would like to see Double Course Energy turn 1 so I can use my Enhanced Hammer. Nope, just the Water Energy. Okay, and there's a Trainers Mail. So the good thing about Glaceon is that he can hit with that Crystal Ray, but for maximum 70 damage. And basically, Super Fang is not affected by Glaceon because it's the effect of attack, and Glaceon can only prevent the damage, not the effect of the attack. So that's the catch that you actually need to know when you play with the Glaceon against Raticate Break. And there we go with Professor Sycamore. So one Double Course Energy and Switch has just been discarded for my opponent, which means that I will definitely try to preserve my N, not my N, but my Enhanced Hammer. So there we go with the Ultra Ball for one copy of a N and one V Seeker, which is going to be a Ultra Ball for a one Remoraid. I really want to have that Octillery as soon as I can in play. And I can also attach my energy on my Rattata, and I will play my N for 6. So there is one more Ultra Ball sitting in my hand, which will means that I will Ultra Ball for my Spinarak. And for the next turn, I guess I can Ultra Ball for my Octillery. But I want to keep my basically a Float Stone in my hand, just because I never know when I can use it. So there is a Double Course Energy, which means that he can use his Crystal Ray, hit for the 70, but luckily he decided to roll with the M, which actually helped me a lot. There we go, there's a Raticate, Level Ball, oh, Trainers Mail, Double Course Energy, I really like this. I just need to find a way to get basic Metal Energy so I can buy a turn right here with my Cobalion in active position. So this is going to be a Raticate, this is going to be a Level Ball for my Octillery. There we go, guys. And a Trainers Mail. Interesting. There's a Lysandre sitting in my hand. But probably I don't want to use Lysandre yet. Nah. Let's just go with... And without even playing that Abyssal Hand yet. I mean, Abyssal Hand for one, not worth still I can get better cards with my end. I'm looking forward for that one Metal Energy, and I managed to find one, which is good. So there we go with another Spinarak on the bench, a Metal Energy attachment, and this Silent Lab is going to be very big deal. Plus I can use my Float Stone on my Octillery, and I can Abyssal Hand for 3 extra cards. Very nice, another Rattata and a Float Stone number 2. So let's just use that quick guard, which is going to be very big play right here, because he is not going to be able to attack with his Glaceon for a turn, which means that I can easily try to set up next turn my Raticate Break and easily knock out his Glaceon. So there is a freaking Majournia, but he still don't have Metal Energy attached on that Glaceon. Prevent all effects of your opponent attacks. Expect damage done to each of your Pokemon that has any Metal Energy. You know what that means. Oh, and you know what this means. That I need to discard my Rattata from the bench. How dare you to do that? I really need to find that Silent Lab as fast as I can. I really need to get that Silent Lab. So in order to get the Silent Lab, I need first to find another piece of puzzle. And to be able to get another piece of puzzle, I will have opportunity next turn to get, tell you that, 2 or 3 cards with that Abyssal Hand. Luckily there is Professor Sycamore, which means that Lysandre is not going to happen. So he's not going to be able to knock out my Raticate on the bench, which is very important. But always he can retreat down to his Mew if he wants. But again, if I manage to find, as I mentioned it earlier, that Silent Lab, that his Majournia Mystic Heart is not going to be effective. And he just decided to pass as his turn, which means that I'm going to use my Super Rod. And this is going to be Abyssal Hand for 2. Come on, give me the piece of puzzle. I really need the piece of puzzle. There's no piece of puzzle, but at least there is a Raticate Break. And Sycamore for 7. Okay, 2 copies of puzzle, another double Chorus Energy, and Enhanced Hammer. So it's time to retreat on my Raticate, it's time to use my Poisonous Nest, and it's time to knock out his Glaceon with my Super Fang. So there we go. 170, which is enough for a knockout. So 2 prizes to take. So the next thing I will need to find definitely is gonna be something like a Lysandre, because I really want to knock out his EX Pokemons for 2 prize cards. And right now he only have the Mew sitting in the active position, which means that I can, with my, of course, Puzzle of Times, grab my Silent Lab for the next turn, and pretty much, even if he managed to find the Metal Energy, I'm going to be able to shut down that Majournia ability. But there is a big double Chorus Energy, which means that he can, oh, he decided to retreat on his Shaymin EX, which will mean only one thing. There is a V-Seeker for N, and I'm going down to 4 cards. Okay. Another Remoraid, double Chorus, and 2 copies of Sycamore. Since I didn't play yet 2 more copies of Puzzle of Time, I think the only rational explanation to next turn is going to be Sycamore, so I can actually discard even my double Chorus Energy in my discard pile. Because right now I don't want to attach my double Chorus Energy to none of my Pokemons, I just want to find a way to get that Lysandre for the knockout. And as you can see, his Shaymin is a grass, so I'm not going to be able to use my Poisonous Nest. But that Dirty Shock will do the job. Again, he needs to find a way to get that Float Stone in play, because without Float Stone he's not going to be able to retreat his Shaymin. So let's see what he can do in this case. Again, Parallel City at this moment works against me, And there we go with the Ace Trainer, which means that I'm going down to 3 cards. Not bad, because I have a Bezel hand, I can always go up to 5. So I think it's not that bad. Alright, so there is a Float Stone. And another Shaymin EX in the active position. Alright, so right now he's trying to actually buy some time until he managed to, I don't know. He can run in a circle, but I guess this is not end good for him, as long as I can find a Lysandre. So there we go with a Ultra Ball. And this is going to be Ultra Ball for Fail to Search. So I can basically have a Bezel hand for 4. And there is a Lysandre, which will be a 2-prize knockout on that Majournia EX. So there we go, Poisonous Nest, and you can run, but you can hide from the Super Fang, that's for sure. So there we go, another knockout. So I'm going down to 2 prize cards, and even if you decide to end me, I will have that basically a Bezel hand, which will help me to find a way to get that V-Seeker. And once I can find the V-Seeker, I can just easily knock out his another Shaymin EX, but the colorless one from the bench for the last 2 prize cards, and this is going to be a GG. So there's a Fighting Fury Belt on a Mew EX. Let's see if he can find maybe that Glaceon EX. I put it on the bench and basically use the Crystal Ray so he can hit for the 70 my Raticate, but maybe even the most important thing, Lysandre to knock out my Ariados on the bench. Just another Shaymin EX. Okay, so this is the Mew Shaymin EX deck. I don't know what to say about that. Never seen something like that. So he also played at Jolteon, but he was not. Once again, guys, thank you for watching. As you can see, it was very interesting to play with the Raticate Break. This is the full deck list if you're looking to build something like that. Also, in the beginning of the video, you can find a suggestion how you can actually tweak a little bit more this deck in another version. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you already didn't. Don't forget to like the button if you already didn't. And that's pretty much it. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave comments below. Till the next time, have a nice day and goodbye.